I don't know why I'm doing this. Hello and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be testing some Amazon budget photography accessories, and I want to start with what I think is the least interesting product and work my way up to the thing that I was most excited about getting and testing. So let's get started. Alright, so the first thing on the list is this K&F Concepts memory card case. It's obviously a case you can put memory cards and things like that in, but let's dive in for a closer look. This one was $18.99. Obviously all of this is going to be in Australian dollars. I will leave links in the description below to these products, although it's probably going to be the Australian Amazon site, but you should be able to find these in most parts of the world. So anyway, let's take a closer look at this memory card case. Alright, so here is the memory card case. Let's get it open and have a quick look. Little carabiner that you can clip on to hang off your bag or whatever. Now I'm just going to read the box quickly here in terms of what cards will fit in this. So you can fit 4 compact flash cards or 4 XQD cards, 4 SD cards, 2 nano SIMs, 2 micro SIMs and 1 normal SIM card, 4 compact flash express cards. This can also hold 12 TF cards as well. So that's it. It comes with a SIM ejector tool, which is great if you're constantly changing SIM cards and things like that. But yeah, very, very simple. I don't know if it's waterproof, but it'll be somewhat water resistant. This is all nice rubber, and when you do close this, it makes a fairly tight seal, just like that. And yeah, I love this carabiner. Like I said, you can hang it off your backpack. Very cool product. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so next up on the list is this K&F Concept. By the way, this isn't sponsored. There's a few products by the same brands, but it's just because a lot of these brands are cheaper. So when it comes to budget stuff, you'll probably see these names quite a bit. Although K&F Concepts, I've used quite a bit of their gear in the past, and I think they make amazing products. Anyway, this one right here is a cleaning kit. So very, very boring, but a real staple when it comes to photographers. You all need this to clean your lenses, your cameras, and things like that. And yeah, this one was $24.99, so a little bit pricier than most other cleaning kits. There are cheaper ones, but this one comes with a little tool, like a cleaning pen, that I absolutely love. So let's dive into this one and have a bit of a closer look. All right, so let's get this one open. This is the tool I was talking about, which we'll get to very quickly. Little air blower and some wipes, or microfiber cloth, I should say. I think that's about it. So what I'd normally do when cleaning my lenses is grab the blower tool just to blow off all the loose dust. And then this tool here is the thing that made this relatively expensive. You can buy these from the official company called Lens Pen, and I have a couple of these already. This consists of a brush that just flicks out like that, so you can remove even more of that dust off your lens, just like this. And then once you've done that, on the other side, if you unscrew the cap here, it's some kind of felt that actually helps to really clean the glass very, very well here. So I like to do kind of little circular patterns, applying a little bit of pressure, just like that. This end is a little bit floppy. It's kind of cool because it like conforms to the glass, but yeah, actually I do like that. My other one's quite rigid, whereas this one, that little part on the end there tends to bend, but I think it's meant to do that, so it conforms to the shape of the glass. My other one's rigid, so I guess this one's only weird because sometimes it kind of snaps down. Yeah, once you've done that, you grab the microfiber cloth, and then we give the lens just a final wipe just to get any of the debris off, just like that. And then we're left with a very, very clean looking glass. Now normally I do the front element and the rear element. I wouldn't clean the sensor with any of this stuff, but you could potentially clean your screen and dust all between your dials and things like that on the body of your camera. Cool product, like I said, very basic one, but something that all photographers should have in their camera bag. All right, so this next one here is a camera wrist strap. So obviously you attach it to your camera and you can put it around your wrist, so you can kind of, if you drop your camera, it won't just fall, and you can also kind of hang it off your wrist. Now this one right here was $12.99, so quite cheap. And yeah, another basic kind of little product, but something that's kind of cool. So let's have another closer look at this one. All right, looks like it comes with a couple of rings you can use to attach the wrist strap. I'm just going to try and attach it to the Sony kind of triangle handles, whatever you want to call them. And let's give this a go. All right, and that's on. It was fairly difficult to get on the kind of standard Sony mounts, but I think that's why they give you this ring, but I got it on nonetheless. And what you do is just slip your hand through the ring, and as you pull it, it gets tighter. So if you were to drop your camera, it would just hang on your wrist, but it's also good, a little bit of extra comfort. Just like that when you're shooting. It kind of feels nice, like you're getting some kind of stabilization in your wrist here. It holds your wrist nice and tight if you are taking photos. But it's good because when you finish taking photos, you can kind of just let the camera hang. Yeah, it is a good kind of fail safe if you did drop your camera. And like I said, it's good to just walk around. It feels like the wrist is holding a lot of the weight of the camera, so it doesn't feel as heavy in the hand. So yeah, that's pretty cool for the price. All right, so next up on the list, we have this, again, K&F Concepts Star Filter Kit. So this was quite pricey. I believe it was $42.99. Let me just double check that really quickly. Yeah, $42.99 Australian dollars. I didn't realize, I thought it was just for one filter, which is kind of pricey for what this is, but it actually comes with 3 filters. And we're gonna see exactly what these do. They look pretty cool. It's probably not something I'd use every day in my photography, but it's probably best for this one that we'll wait until nighttime and get a closer look at these. But basically what they do is turn your lights into stars. It's kind of like closing your aperture down really far. But yeah, you get 3 filters in this kit. One basically gives you a star with 4 edges, 6 edges and 8 edges. So that's what the 3 filters are. Let's take a closer look at these now. These should be pretty fun to have a little bit of a play around with. All right, so it's pretty much nighttime. I want to see how these little lights behind me look with these star filters. Let's quickly unbox them. And what I love, you get them in this beautiful little pouch here. Very nice quality. Velcro is open and the 3 filters are in each of these different pockets. Another thing I love is that you get another few of those microfiber cloths that we got with the, what else was it? I can't remember what it was. A product that we did earlier, we got some of these. And these are actually really nice quality, believe it or not. So anyway, I think it's dark enough. I'm gonna grab my normal camera I take photos with. I'll probably put it in video mode just so you can see exactly what the filters are doing. And yeah, let's see how these work. All right, so for the sake of timing, we'll just do one of the filters and I'm gonna do the 8-point filter. So this should give us a star that, well, it should make the light into a star that has 8 points. So let's give it a go. So as you can see here, the lights look very normal, but let's put the filter on top. And there we go. You can actually turn the filter as well. Make the stars turn. I'll get a little bit closer into one of these lights. That's pretty cool. I'll just turn my ISO down a bit. There you go. It's not as drastic as effect I thought it would be, but it's not quite that darker here yet, and it depends, I guess, how bright the light is. These are fairly dim lights. Let's actually try some lights above here. Oh yeah, that's crazy. I'll zoom in a bit. I haven't attached the filter properly, so forgive me. All right, zoom in a bit. They're the lights without the filter, and I'm just gonna bring the filter up, and that's cool. You can, what I love is you can turn the filter so you can actually set where these points are. And that's it. These filters are actually really cool. I don't know if I'd use them all that much, but I think that'd be cool for cityscape photography where you had just a whole bunch of buildings and lighting in the city and you wanted this effect. Now, it might be a bit too much if you've got a lot of lights going on. So you might want to use one of the other filters that don't have as many points on the stars. Yeah, nonetheless, this is pretty cool. I like this. You could do a lot of creative things with these. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. All right, so next up on the list, coming in at a price of $16.94, is this Ulanzi phone tripod mount. And basically it just allows you to mount your phone on your cold shoot or your hot shoot of your camera, which is really cool if you want to kind of film POV videos of what you're doing, but also some people like to take photos on their phone while they're actually taking proper photos on their camera, just so they can send photos to clients quickly and things like that. So this is pretty cool. Let's chuck this on and have a closer look at this one. I'm excited to try this one. I think it's going to be pretty cool. All right, let's get this one open and take a look. Beautiful, fairly simple. Looks like it can, hopefully, yeah, it can turn, so you can have it horizontal or vertical. Let's get this mounted. I'll remove my little cold shoe cover. Slide this in. And just tighten down this knurled knob here to make sure it's tight. And I'll probably shoot with this vertical like that. Maybe we'll go this way. And let's chuck my phone in it. And there we go. I can actually have my phone mounted. You can see the camera's on like that. And it means I could film some POV footage with my phone, or like I said earlier, take photos on my phone as well as the camera, just so I've got something quick on my phone. Obviously the focal length and things like that are going to be different, but it's also cool just to have your phone up here as a reference if you needed to look up location or something like that. Or sometimes I use photo pills if I'm planning shots. I could have photo pills up on my phone while I'm carrying it like this. Now, it's probably not something I'd use all the time, but it's, as I said, it's cool for those POV videos. Oh, and another cool thing is it actually has a cold shoe mount on top of this, so you can put a light or microphone or anything else on top. So yeah, very, very cool product. All right, so this next one here coming in at a price of $40.90. So getting up there a little bit in price, but for what this is, if it works the way it looked like it worked, it's going to be pretty cool. And this is basically a photo light box. So it's a little box you can set up. I think this one's about 40 centimeters, 25 centimeters, sorry. So 25 centimeter cube. And it's basically a really cool product to do product photography. So it lights up, you put stuff in there, and what I love about this one is you can shoot from the front of the box or the top, but we'll get into that in a bit more detail. But yeah, this one's really cool, especially for those of you who want to take product photos and things like that. So let's have a closer look at this one. This one I'm really excited about as well, so let's check this one out. All right, so I got this all unboxed. Inside the box, everything comes in this kind of nice little storage pouch there. We'll put that down over here. Comes with a user manual. What looks like kind of like a diffuser for the LEDs inside, but I don't know if you have to use this. We'll see how we go. Then it comes with these different colored backdrops that are double-sided. So let's set this thing up. It's pretty cool actually. You just pull it up and lift this flap down. And that's it. Inside you can see the LEDs along the top there. And there's a little elastic band that holds the backdrops in, and there's a Velcro there. I think the Velcro is for that diffuser sheet we saw earlier. And you can also pop the lid here and shoot from the top, which is awesome. Now, as I said, I've got one of these already, but it's a gigantic one and you can't shoot from the top with it. It's kind of annoying. So this is a nice small size. Let's plug it in. All right, so I've decided to take a photo of these Ray-Ban sunglasses case here. Obviously try and make sure the product's clean. I'm gonna turn my camera on. I'm just gonna tilt this away so I can kind of get a better view of it here. And we'll do a front view first, just like this. Kind of like this moody look. And I've gone with a black backdrop. That's not too bad. Now I'm going to take one from the top, which I think is what the image that I would use for this. I've ended up putting the diffuser on as well because the light was a bit too harsh. That looks awesome. All right, and that's it. I'll pop the two images I just took up then with a very light edit. And I love this product. I think it's pretty cool. It's nice and small. Obviously, if you have larger products, it's not going to work for you, but it's really cool. You could actually offer a service going around to different places and doing their product photography. And you just have to kind of plug this into a power bank or something like that. Very, very cool product. I actually like this one. It comes with a whole bunch of stuff and I do think it's very well worth the price. The fact that it folds down and you get all those different backdrops, it's cool. I like this one. All right, and coming in at a price of $24.99 is this JJC silicone lens hood. What this does, it attaches to your camera lens and you can put it against a piece of glass like an aquarium or a window, and it just reduces or removes the glare. Normally when you're taking a photo through glass, if you've got a bit of distance between you and the glass, you'll pick up reflections from in the room that you're in, and it just doesn't look good. So this here is basically creating a seal between your lens and the glass to remove any of the glare that's in the room you're in, or even if you're outside, it'll remove all the glare. Let's say you want to shoot a cityscape through a window, this will come in handy. So let's give this one a try. Again, this is another product I'm really excited to try out. All right, so let's try and take a photo through the glass of this car right here. Now these windows are tinted, so it is going to be even more reflective than usual. So I'm going to push my camera up almost as close as I can get. And what you're going to see is it's almost just basically a complete mirrored reflection because it's just there's too much glare and the window is too tinted. So let's chuck this on and see how it works. Also keep in mind, you do have to buy this in a certain diameter to fit your lens. It is fairly stretchy, but just make sure you get the one that will fit your lens. All right, now I'm going to push this up against the glass, readjust my exposure and see what we can get. And look at that. Perfect. The only thing is, obviously we're getting a lot of light coming in through the windscreen that's overexposed, but that's not what the point of this was. The point of this was just to show you that this does work. And yeah, this would be amazing for aquariums, all the stuff I said before, especially if you wanted to do nightscape out a hotel window. Just make sure the glass is clean. This isn't, but yeah, make sure the glass is clean if you are using this. Another great product. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so coming in at $12.99 is this waterproof camera cover. It basically slips over your camera and makes it waterproof. It's got some holes that your arms go through. It kind of looks pretty cool. I don't even know if it's going to fit my camera, but we'll find out right now. All right, first off, let's see if this fits my camera. So just chuck it over the top. You can kind of zip it under the tripod, or under the camera, sorry, above your tripod, just like that. Now, this is going to work a little bit better with longer lenses because this kind of snout here, even if your lens was inside it, if you've got a longer lens, you probably won't see the edge of this, but I've got a pretty short lens on, so I'm gonna have to kind of pull it back. And then you do get some elastic with Velcro on it, so we can make that tighter so it doesn't just come off. But it also has a drawstring as well. All right, so that's it. It's on and it fits. It'd probably fit a bigger camera a little bit better, but I'm gonna turn it on. Got my arms through these little sleeves here. I can still access all the settings, which is pretty cool. The only thing that is slightly annoying, I can still use the EVF, the viewfinder, but one thing that's annoying with certain cameras, if you put your eye up to the viewfinder, it actually turns the back screen off. You can turn that off with this camera, but that is happening as this kind of plastic touches the viewfinder. So kind of just got to move it away if you want to use the back of the screen. But for the most part, it's pretty cool. I can, yeah, as I said, it's quite comfortable. I can still grab my grips. I can still adjust pretty much every setting on the camera. And yeah, I can use the EVF, like I said. Got my shutter button, take a photo, and it works. So I'll just make sure these zips are tight, because this thing is useless if it's not waterproof. So I'm scared, but I'm gonna spray the camera, spray this thing with water and see what happens. Just make sure I am sealed up. Obviously the front of the lens, I don't want to spray water directly in there because the lens is exposed, but for the most part, if it's just raining, obviously it's coming from above, so maybe we'll simulate that from back here. I am scared. All right, beautiful. I don't know why I'm doing this. Yeah, it still works. Let me just take a photo. Yeah, it still works perfectly. Obviously, let's just take this off in a moment. All right, beautiful, works perfectly. We'll take this off, check if the camera's still dry. Yeah, camera's bone dry. This works absolutely perfectly. I love this. I think this is a really good product. And one thing that I do prefer, I've often seen people with, they're almost similar to this, but they're capes that go over their whole body. So they kind of sit in this little cave with a cape over them, and it keeps them dry as well. But if you're wearing waterproof clothing or clothing that's comfortable enough and you have this, it does work very, very well. So yeah, big thumbs up for this one. It's kept the camera dry and it's done the job very well. All right, now coming in at $35.95 is something that I've actually used myself for a couple of years, and it's a Ulanzi VL49 RGB light. Let's have a closer look at this one. All right, this is a little bit of a closer look at the Ulanzi VL49. As I said, I've had this for a couple of years. I've used it mainly for lighting up buildings or structures when doing astrophotography. I just leave it in the building, turn the light on, and it gives the building a nice little glow. I've also used it for light painting, but I mainly use it for actually videos when I would need to light my face up a little bit more, if it's nighttime and I'm kind of vlogging to the camera. As long as you're close enough, it does a very good job. A few things I really love about this light is that it has cold shoe mounts on every edge. So you're able to add microphones, other lights, all sorts of other accessories. The only place it doesn't have one is on the bottom, but that's because it has the cold shoe part that actually slides into your camera, and you can actually tighten this down as well so it doesn't just fall off. And it also has a 1/4" thread on the bottom, so you can mount this to tripods, light stands, anything else that uses a 1/4" thread. I also love the fact that it is magnetic on the back, so you can stick it to anything that's magnetic, and it's USB-C rechargeable. It charges very fast, and it lasts ages. I've only charged this a few times in the couple of years that I've owned it. Not that I use it all day, every day, but let's just quickly turn this on. This is the main mode I use it in, 5500 kelvins and 50% brightness. Obviously, if you press this button here, it cycles from the brightness to the color balance, so you can change those easily. And if you hold it down, you can go through all sorts of different modes. This is just the mode that you can do RGB colors, so any color, you can see these numbers along the bottom here. Any of those colors you can choose just by selecting the number, and hold it down again, you'll get these little scenes. So it's like a cop car, and there's a whole bunch of different ones here. So ambulance, fire engine, emergency, fireworks, TV. This is cool, it's just like a flicker. You'll see it go from bright to dark. So this light is not only good for photography, it's also good for filmmakers and videographers that want to kind of simulate environments. You could put this on someone's face and have it look like they're kind of watching a TV. But yeah, I mainly just use it for lighting my face when I'm doing videos, but I also use it for, as I said before, light painting, astrophotography, all that type of thing. So yeah, very, very, very good product. I've been very happy with this over the couple of years that I've owned it, and yeah, it's fantastic. All right, now very last on the list, and the one that I was most excited to try is, it comes in at $39.99, and it's a Ulanzi CG02 Bluetooth smartphone grip. So basically this mounts to your phone, and it gives you kind of like a camera grip you'd find on a mirrorless camera or a DSLR camera. It's also got a shutter button that I believe is Bluetooth, which you can slide out and use remotely, and it's got a light on it as well. So very, very cool for those of us who maybe don't want to take their cameras everywhere, or don't even own a camera but want a little bit more of a comfortable experience when it comes to taking photos on your phone. It can be a bit awkward holding a thin phone in your hand like that, whereas this will provide you with a nice grip. Let's try it, let's try it. Let's just stop talking about it and we'll give this one a try. All right, so here it is out of the box. As you can see, there's a light on the front, which is just an LED. On the top here we have the shutter button. The other button here is to turn the light on, and then you can cycle through different brightnesses. This is obviously the spring where your phone will sit inside here, and there is a cold shoe mount on top, so you can put other accessories right on top there. There is a USB-C port on the side here, and I believe one of those is to charge the light, and there is another one here that's to charge the actual shutter button. The reason they're separate is because this shutter button comes off magnetically and can be used remotely, which is really cool. The other thing this has is a 1/4 inch mount on the bottom, so you can mount this to a tripod or any other kind of light stand or accessory that uses a 1/4 inch thread. Let's pop my phone in now. It's already paired straight away. You just hold this button down for a few seconds and it goes into pairing mode. Just chuck my phone in there. It is very, very comfortable. Compared to just holding your phone on its own, this is amazing. So let's get my phone up, load up my camera, and we'll press the shutter button. As I said, I've already paired this. So pressing the shutter button, as you can see, but what you can do is just pull this shutter button off magnetically and you can take photos remotely without even needing to have this connected. So great for selfies and things like that when you can't reach the back of your phone. Just magnetically clips it back on there, beautiful. So let's turn the light on, we'll have a look at that. So just hold down this button up here for a few seconds. Light turns on, and like I said, if you click the button while it's on, it'll go through various brightnesses. I think there's 3 brightness settings. It's a pretty bright light. It's not the brightest light in the world. Obviously, it's not going to replace a flash, like a real flash, because they charge up and they provide a lot of power. But this is good if you're doing close-up portraits or trying to film yourself at night and things like that. It's definitely bright enough for that. As you can see on my hand, it's fairly bright. Let's hold the button down there to turn that off. And yeah, that's about it. I absolutely love this. It's very, very comfortable, as I said before. Much more comfortable than just trying to hold a flat phone like this in your hands. It just gives you somewhere really nice to grip, and I love the feature that you can pull this out and take photos remotely. As I said, great for selfies and when you can't press the button on your phone. But other than that, very, very cool device. Love it. All right, that's it. We have tested all those products. I hope you enjoyed this video. There's quite a few things in here that I'm definitely going to continue to use. And yeah, a lot of the stuff was pretty cool, especially for the price. I hope this video helped you find some products that you might want to use in the future. But yeah, that's about it. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like, leave a comment below, share this video, and please subscribe if you want to see more content just like this and photography adventures and all sorts of other stuff. I think I said it early in the video, but this video was not sponsored at all. All this stuff was purchased with my own money, but if you want to help me out, you can check out my courses, photography courses. The link will be in the description below. But other than that, hope you have a good one, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching.